From HYPEBEAST Radio, I'm Jeff Staple, and this is The Business of Hype, a show about creative entrepreneurs, brand builders, innovators, and the realities behind the dreams they've built. As you guys probably know, the footwear industry is a ridiculous competitive field. After all, we all have one thing in common. We have 2 feet, and we can only wear one pair of shoes every day. So the battle to win that valuable real estate is cutthroat. There's always been 3 major players in the industry. Nike, which is the monster in the room, is almost equal to the entire industry added together. And Adidas is the newly minted boy wonder, but they only recently just eclipsed Skechers, which is the working class hero. But if you follow the industry, you'll for sure have read about the massive moves that PUMA has been making recently. This year alone, sales have increased by 15% with double-digit growth in all regions and all product categories. Gross profit margin improves to 48.6%, and recently PUMA announced re-entry into the basketball category. They signed 4 of the top 15 picks in this year's NBA draft, including top picks DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley III. And their new president of basketball operations is some dude named Sean Carter. You might know him better as Jay-Z. And this recent news is on top of recent signings with supermodel Carla Delevingne, The Weeknd, Big Sean, Selena Gomez, and some chick named Rihanna. And full disclosure, my team at Staple has worked on some pretty dope projects with PUMA as well. So let's zoom out a little bit here. How does this all happen? Because you're naive if you think you just pick up a phone and ask all of these heads to sign on. Sliding into bad girl Riri's DM ain't gonna get you anywhere. And money alone isn't the answer either, because if that were the case, every Chinese brand would be signing every influencer you know. The secret recipe is a combination of history, legacy, cultural authenticity, money, and potential. And the chef a company hires to manage that recipe is critical. Yassine Saidi is PUMA's top chef. His mysterious title is Head of Select, which simply means he touches everything PUMA does that is bleeding edge and envelope pushing. Yassine and his team are taking charge on PUMA's assault in the sneaker wars. They're smart enough to know that the battle is treacherous though. And they also know that empires fall. And in business, greatness can be right around any corner. You put enough straws on the camel's back and you know what's gonna happen, it's eventually gonna break. So for anyone that has ever dreamed of working at a sneaker brand, or working in a critical position like this is the episode for you. Because as you'll soon hear, Yassine didn't just land at this desk. He hustled his way from the bottom all the way to the top of the food chain.
Yeah, so I'm French, rooted from Morocco. So my parents are immigrants. They moved in the 70s to look for a better future for themselves and their kids. And so we were living in a very poor neighborhood. So very poor neighborhood means also danger. Mm-hmm. Okay, so drugs and thieves, and it was a pretty hardcore neighborhood, I have to say. So and my kids, they were basically on my back on having 2 things checked. First is school, like you had no option. Okay, school, you had no option. Yeah, you gotta go. But first of all, you gotta go. Yeah. No, you gotta go was not an option. You had to go anyway. Okay, but you gotta be good at school. And the second thing was sports.
Okay? You have to do sports?
Yeah. I had to play. So I played tennis. I played basketball. I was into skateboards.
Why did your parents make you play sports?
Because it's being in a positive community and not basically being hanging out in the streets,
right?
And just talking to random people.
Which leads to trouble.
Yeah, exactly, which leads to trouble. So my parents come pick me up at school. They drive me to school. They come pick me up at school. They drive me to the tennis club. Tennis club sounds weird for kids coming from the hood, but
it's a court basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was not a country club.
Yeah.
So they were like very, very strict about
and this
what
is
we're
in
doing.
Morocco?
This is in France.
Oh, okay. You were born in France.
I'm born in France, yeah. So, and from my 15 to, I would say, no, from my 14 to 18, 19, I was heavy skateboard and basketball. So that was my 2 things. and with all the culture that surrounded these two sports, actually. Right. I mean, it was very funny because the music that skateboarders were listening at that time and the music that basketball player was listening at that time was already different. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I get caught into this different cultures around the culture around the clothing in skateboarding and the clothing in basketball and the music that basically both sports have. And I just got drawn into it and I just love it. Right. And I always knew I'm going to work in the sport industry.
Wow.
Always. Okay.
And I think for some of our listeners who are maybe younger, like today, skate and hip hop and street and basketball are all sort of like mixed together. Like they all sort of listen to the same stuff, wear the same stuff.
Yeah.
But back then,
it was not at the time.
Yeah, it was very separate.
Very separate.
Right.
Very separate. So I was listening to Korn and Nirvana when I was like skateboarding, and I was listening to Wu-Tang Clan in basketball.
Yeah, right.
So that's actually the thing. So I think that's also why I understand the different movement of culture so well, and that's also why I can talk to anybody in the industry because I get rooted from that. So for me, it's pretty easy.
So you knew you were going to work for a sports company.
Sport company, and I always knew at that time we had a show called Culture Pub, in France, and it was a show about advertising. Okay, and how they do advertising, and it was basically for 1 hour showing advertising from brands all over the world and explaining how that works and why they did that. Okay, so it was very, very creative, but it was always a business side into it. Okay, and I was like watching that show every week.
Okay, so you fell in love with branding too.
Yeah. So I said, okay, you know what? I want to work in sport industry, and I'm going to do advertising. At that time, it was advertising. we were not talking about marketing; it was advertising.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So
it was like a billboard,
or
print ad,
or TV spots.
But I feel like back then, like the billboards and the print ads were so much more creative because that's all they had. There was no TV, social, YouTube. Like they just put so much creativity into a spread.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I always knew. So.
And were you a sneakerhead?
No, I never been.
So you bought shoes to just use them for sports?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I never been a sneakerhead.
Okay.
So what I own in my closet is like everything that people send me, or because I'm sample size at PUMA. Yeah. So I just get everything. But like I never queue. I never went to eBay to buy a shoe. No, never. So. Okay. So
now we're at.
No, because I had no money. Like I had no money,
right?
You know, I had no money, so it was not even a thing. So asking my parents, I never owned a Jordan. I was playing basketball, but
you couldn't afford the Jordan.
I remember my parents. They told me, okay. I told them I need a pair of shoes for basketball. I said okay, and then we went to the store and I see all these Jordan on the wall, and I see my father. I said I want this one. He said, are you crazy? I said, please, Dad. And I get an LA Gear.
Not even close.
You know, LA Gear, right? That's the brand name.
LA Gear,
LA Gear. And I was sometimes fucking embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know? Right. So, but you know what? I went through that, learning a lot about it.
So when you go to university, did you go to university?
Yeah, I went to university. So what happened is like when I was like 19, I graduated at school, high school, and then I wanted to go to university and I wanted to do a business school. Okay, so my parents told me, okay, you can do a business school, and we're gonna cover the fees. So because it's your last run, so just go and tell us which one you want. And the best school, actually in France, is where my parents live. Okay. But I wanted to leave home.
You didn't want to go close by.
Yeah. So, and I said to myself also, that's the opportunity today to actually do what you want. You want to work in the skate and surf industry because I get after skate I get into snowboard and surfing, and I said, this is what I want. So there's two schools, one in Bordeaux, you know, where there's the industry of surfing is actually there. Okay. And one is in Annecy, it's close to Chamonix, where the snowboard is there. Okay.
Mountain and beach.
Yeah. So I told my parents that I apply in the school where I was living, and also these two schools. Okay. I didn't apply to the school. I was at my parents' place.
You're like, fuck that.
Fuck that one. And I hope my parents will not listen to that one. So, and I basically got the two schools. I got Bordeaux and both schools. And I decided to go to Annecy, next to Chamonix, because actually I was much more in snowboard, sorry.
Yeah, than surfing.
Okay. So I just moved there, like changed my life.
Yeah.
I got an internship at Salomon.
Nice.
So
Salomon is it's a classic European ski company, hiking.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
And they had one internship. Okay, and all these kids that actually grow there in Annecy and Chamonix, and they are heavy snowboarders.
They get it. They should get it.
They should get it.
Yeah, right.
They picked me.
Wow.
This kid.
Yeah.
You know, because I brought something completely different.
Yeah.
You know, on the table. So
right.
and what I've done, I remember, is I saw the job description or the internship description, and actually I wrote an essay about what I wanted to do there. So I didn't just
apply,
show up
and apply
and do the interview.
Right.
I came up with like a plan. You know,
wow.
I came up with a plan.
Yeah.
And I made a difference, obviously, on that. So I got it, and that was the starting point for me on getting into
the
sports.
industry. Yeah.
So I worked there. I loved it. They kept me longer. So then I graduated school. I worked for a small company called Boards and More, which was also a distributor of skateboarding, snowboarding, and windsurfing. And I loved it.
Was that like a sales job?
No, I was a marketing manager for the country, for France.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also had a pretty big position. I was like 19.
Yeah.
You know?
Just out of school.
Just out of school, I just got, and they tell me, you're going to be the head of marketing for France. I said, oh, really? I said, yeah, I'll do it.
Wow.
You know? And I get to work with the biggest surfer in the world. I went to Hawaii, I did photo shoots. I did like sales tools as well for the sales team.
At 19?
19, and I've done some crazy thing, you know? And I loved it, and I hated it as well, because surfing and skateboarding at that time was not as structured companies like they are today. And it was very freestyle. That's the word we're using. It's freestyle because it's freestyle, but the company was fucking freestyle.
Yeah.
Okay?
So the company had no structure.
No structure. So you try to basically apply rules that you've learned in Salomon, because Salomon is very structured. It was owned by Adidas at that time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what you've learned at school and putting plans together, you know? And no, it was like every day, it's another day, and every day we'll see what's going to happen, you know? So it was very difficult. I had some clash with sales because you always have this clash between marketing and sales. I'm a brand builder, and they just want to sell and get their check. You know, whatever they sell, they will do it. You know, so we had some clash, and I said, you know what, I cannot do it anymore. You know, so I want to keep working in the sport industry, but I need to go bigger. So I'm watching TV, and there's a documentary on Adidas against Nike on the World Cup '98, and how these two brands actually approach World Cup. So I'm watching this show. At the end of the show, I said, I'm going to fucking work for Adidas or Nike. The next day, I sent my CV to these two companies.
Okay.
Next day. Okay. 2 months later, I work for Adidas.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 months later, I'm at Adidas.
In where?
In France.
Okay.
In Strasbourg, slightly north of France.
And what year is this? When you got your job at Adidas?
2003.
Okay.
Yeah, 2003.
And can you just paint the picture?
2005, sorry, 2005.
Okay. 2005. So can you paint a picture in 2005? Where was Adidas? This is because kids listening to this is like, oh, Yeezy. Like, no. Describe Adidas in 2005.
So Adidas in 2005 is Climacool.
Okay. But like their exposure, like in America and globally, was
in America was not.
It's like a soccer brand, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
sport brand.
Sport, yeah.
And France, we were doing pretty well. Also because it's a European brand.
Yeah.
Generally, they always did well in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay, but they had no footprint in the US.
Right.
Like in lifestyle
and
wait,
lifestyle.
Wait. Lifestyle was not existing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but what Adidas understood very early, and this is where I was there. They started Adidas Original, 2001, 2002, you know?
Yeah.
So an Adidas Original is the starting point of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like actually, before it was like, okay, we're going to create products, okay? And if the usage extension of the product is lifestyle, then that's not our,
right.
It's the consumer decides.
Yeah.
And then turning into, we're actually going to create product for lifestyle.
Right.
That's exactly at that time.
And originally it was like maybe referencing archival product.
Yes.
Bringing back stamps.
Oh, yeah. It was only that.
Yeah.
I remember ZX, Gazelle, Stan Smith, Superstar, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
So it was like the big thing. And at that time, it was also 2005, 2006. You had the 35 years of the Superstar.
Yes,
do you remember that?
Yeah, Jam Master Jay.
Yeah.
And
so I was there, like.
So what was your title at Adidas?
So they hired me. So listen to that. It was a big frustration, but I had to do it. So I was heading up the marketing for a small surf skateboard company in France.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the job they offered me at Adidas is merchandiser accessories for Adidas France.
Okay.
Okay.
That seems really niche. Like
super niche.
Merchandising accessories in France.
So wait. Yeah, exactly. So accessories for Adidas and for all companies is actually socks, headwear, and bags.
Right.
And bags. Okay.
Socks, headwear, and bags.
Okay.
In one country.
So I took a hit on my ego.
Yeah.
Okay, to do it. But you know what? I knew I'm gonna win.
Right.
Okay. So and actually this job was perfect.
Yeah.
Because it was not so much pressure. I had time to build network.
Right.
Like strong network. And in these companies, you need to build network with sales.
Yeah.
Okay, with salespeople.
Yeah.
Because they make shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They control the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And my only objective was I'm gonna head up tennis at Adidas France. Why?
Yeah, why?
Because first of all, I was a tennis player when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't touched a racket for 15 years. Okay. But Adidas was actually partner with the French Open, Roland Garros.
Okay.
Okay. So and the guy who was managing tennis at Adidas France is actually managing the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like me watching the French Open. It's like you guys US Open. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm watching every June the Roland Garros tennis French Open, and I just like staring at players. And I said, you have like an opportunity to be at the lounge for 2 weeks every year. And
so that's why you wanted to get to tennis.
I wanted to get that job, and that was actually the only job I wanted to do.
Wow.
Okay, so I go to my boss after 3 months.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, you're doing well. What do you want to do next? I said, I want to do tennis. Okay. So I get closer to the guy who was doing tennis.
Okay.
I say, Yassine, you know what? I'm going to leave in 3 months. I'm going back to Paris with my girlfriend. And I think you can do the job. I said, sure, I can.
You are mad strategic. Like you're like a chess player with your life.
Oh, bro.
Like you like see the thing and you're like, I'm going to get that. And then boom, you like get that. And
yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
So you know what? I tell you one thing. It's like when you come from nothing, you have nothing to lose. So, bro, I go.
Right. It's like getting a meal.
Yeah,
like
but
I'm hungry, I gotta eat.
Yeah, but I do it always clean. You know, like I'm not.
Right,
I'm not doing politics. Like never.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you get the tennis job.
I get a tennis job.
Take a small opportunity and flip it into a big opportunity. If you ever wonder how some people make it work, this is how. Everyone tells the story of the person who makes their way to the top from the mailroom. This is the brand version of that. What I've learned in business and in life, it's all about just moving forward. Not every move and decision needs to be leaps and bounds. Sometimes it's just inches, but those matter too. And those small inches added up consistently, day after day, they actually amount to a lot more than those monumental moments. And you talk about getting your foot in the door. Yassine took an opportunity to be in charge of socks in France. And he spun that into his goal of heading up the entire tennis category in 3 months. Game, set, match.
So when I get the tennis job, and I did very well.
Yeah.
I did very well. You know what I did is, so Adidas tennis at that time was literally for white people.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm not a white guy. Okay? And me being a Moroccan immigrant and leading
Roland Garros.
Garros, like a white sport.
Yeah.
First of all, it was like, for people, it was like, who's this kid?
Yeah, and the French Open is a Grand Slam event. It's like one of the top 4 tournaments of tennis.
Exactly.
And Roland Garros is like royalty.
It's royalty.
Yeah, royalty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's royalty. You have all the Lacoste people of this world.
Right, yeah.
You know, the bank and thing. And I'm sitting there.
Yeah. With your fucking...
I'm sitting there but you know what? I can handle and I can talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Okay? So it was good. So my role was managing the product for the French market, okay, and work with sales to commercialize it and create packages for accounts, working with marketing and defining the strategy to activate your products and so forth. So it's a merchandising role. So everybody want to get into sports and product. You always have to start with merchandising because you're really exposed to actually the real world, which is accounts and sales.
Can you define merchandising for our listeners?
Merchandising is, so if you're a merchandiser for a sport company and you work in a country, you're not working in the headquarters. So what your role is, you go to the headquarters, you see the global offer, and you pick the product that you think are relevant for your own markets.
Gotcha.
And you build your assortment, and then you do the go-to-market strategy. So what's going to be my sales strategy? What I'm going to give to Finish Line? What I'm going to get to Foot Locker?
Right.
Okay? And then you define the marketing strategy and how you're going to talk about your product to the consumer.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's basically what you're doing.
It's a very important job, but I think a lot of people don't realize it, like that are young, you know, but... Yeah, it's like the way I see it is like it's almost like you have a chef that can cook anything.
Exactly.
But someone has to decide what's appetizer, what's main, what's dessert, right? What's Monday, what's the specials tomorrow. That's like a curation and an edit.
Definitely.
That's what a merchandiser
That's
is.
definitely the best analogy is central.
Yeah.
It's a very strategic function, and I think I've learned so much from that role.
Yeah.
You know, and even doing accessories, which is like I would say a low profile category, okay, but necessary. You just understand how things works.
Yeah.
You know?
Because like typically a product designer or designer, right? They don't really care if their stuff sells or not.
No.
They just want to make the best stuff, which is what you want.
Exactly.
Sales guys, they just want the shit to sell. They don't care how great it is.
Exactly.
The merchandiser is like the balance, right?
Exactly.
It has to be good and it has to sell.
Yeah. It was I think the critical experience in my career is that one. So we have these white polos and white shorts and white shoes and white socks, and I was tired of that because when I was watching tennis when I was a kid, I was a fan of Andre Agassi. Okay?
And that punk tennis.
And I wanted to bring an edge to what we're doing. Okay, so I go to Global, I sit with the Global team, Global tennis team, and I say, guys, this is what I want to do. I want to actually create a collection. It's called Edge. It was called Edge actually, and I want colors. I want graphic tees. You know, I want print and I want loud. Okay. And the player we're gonna work with is Novak Djokovic.
Yes.
Okay, because he was the Joker at that time. You remember? And we just signed him at that time.
Okay.
And I told him, can you guys let me work with Novak, and I'm going to create a small collection, and we're going to do it in France first. Okay. They told me, Yassine, I can give you 2 tees and 2 shorts. I said, okay, I start with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do my 2 tees and my 2 shorts. I sell them very well.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, now let's do it bigger. And then it got bigger. So I get closer to the global team. Yeah. And what happened is we did blue shoes. Red shoes never happened at Adidas.
In tennis. Yeah.
Never, you know. And I remember the Climacool Feather Red Roland Garros edition. It was like we sold it so well.
In inline, not even in the...
No, inline.
Like outside of the Roland Garros week.
Yeah, outside of Roland Garros, it was everywhere. Yeah. Like, I was so proud. Yeah. I haven't done the product myself, but I initiate the conversation. Right. You know, so...
And you going to global headquarters, they're probably like, what the fuck? Why are we even listening to you?
Exactly. So then, I in France, we have an account called Decathlon. Okay?
Yeah, Decathlon.
So how you can compare Decathlon in the US? Champs. Yeah, it's a Champs. It's just the Champs of Europe, I would say. So, and I invite the global team to come and attend the biggest account in Europe, okay? Because I needed their support and help me answer some questions. So I do the presentation, we talk with the accounts, everything does well. They say, oh, the edge thing is very good, that's what we need, blah, blah. We finish the conversation, we go dinner, and the general manager of Tennis International at Adidas told me, do you want to come work with us in Germany? because what you've done on Edge, we want you to replicate that on a global scale.
So do you want to go to global, basically?
Headquarters.
Yeah.
I said, fuck yeah, I go.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, I go. So I end up managing the footwear at Adidas International Tennis.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Germany?
In Germany.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Was that a goal of yours to get to headquarters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you global, I mean, the doors that you have after that is just changing everything.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Right. And here we go again. Yassine has his new target locked. From bags and socks in France, to tennis and Roland Garros, to global headquarters. Sometimes all it takes is a spark. Yassine raised his hand, harnessed courage and enthusiasm, and created opportunity. Haters will call that luck. I often wonder if people really understand the difference between luck and the fateful event that resulted from hours of hard work. Let's get back to seeing where Yassine sets his sight on next, and more importantly, how. Okay, so now you're at Adidas global headquarters. Okay.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
Again, this Moroccan kid doing tennis, and I was not playing tennis at that time.
Right.
Like all the people in the team, lunchtime they go play tennis. I was not playing tennis.
You bring your skateboard to work.
Like I was like sometimes I felt like wrong casting.
Yeah.
Because they were like so much into tennis, you know.
Right.
And you know what? You asked me earlier if I was a sneakerhead. I don't know if it's a strength, but I think what helped me is like I never been a fan or a nerd of anything.
Yeah. You're like general.
Yeah. So
you weren't a tennis nerd.
No.
Yeah.
So that's why I think I have the ability to zoom out and take perspective.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I never been in any bubble.
Yeah.
You know.
There's an expression in America that we use called I people versus T people. Have you heard of this? So I people is like the shape of the letter I. They go deep.
Yes.
They're like the nerds, right? Like Clark Kent is like I person.
Yeah.
But then there's T people that look at it from across the board.
Yeah.
And I think being a T person is something that is like really important for a company.
Yeah.
Because you got to see it from 30,000 feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I always understood, obviously, accessories, surfing, skateboarding, basketball, tennis, football.
Yeah. Hip hop,
rock. You know, like I always got into that, and I experienced all of them. You know, and with some depth, you know, but never to the
nerd shit.
No, never.
So knowing what I know of you now, I would assume that you're sitting there as global head of tennis, and now Yassine is probably thinking, what's next?
Yeah.
So what is the next target now?
No, the next target was at that time I wanted to go to the US.
Adidas US?
I wanted to go to
Adidas. You wanted to go to the United States?
Yeah, I wanted to go to the United States. Okay, so why United States? Is because, first of all, I grew up with the American culture because that's all we basically...
Yeah, and all the stuff you mentioned was born in the United States. Skateboarding, surfing, hip-hop,
so that's from a cultural standpoint, but then it was like this ambitious kid who wanted to go to the US because the US is the most competitive market in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, if you make it there, you make it anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, like for me, it was not the New York thing; it was like the global, the America thing.
Yeah.
If you make it there, so I had opportunities where I was at Adidas, but it was not the one. Okay, so I said to myself, you're not going to move for the sake of moving. You have to be very strategic on what you want to do. Okay,
so can you expand on that? You had an opportunity to go to the US for Adidas.
Yes.
But why didn't you take it?
Because the role was not right.
Can you say what the role was?
I don't remember what was the role, but I didn't have a feeling for it.
Okay.
You know? And also, I always choose the people I want to work with.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't choose your boss, but when you have the opportunity to choose it, then you make a conscious decision.
Right,
so, and I think most probably was the reason why, you know?
Okay.
So I work there, and I have a blast. I mean, I'm traveling the world. I'm with players. I went to Andre Agassi's house in Las Vegas. We did a photo shoot with him because Adidas had Andre Agassi for 3 years.
After Nike,
and then he went back to Nike.
Yeah.
So for 3 years, I worked with him, and we create like a training tennis shoe. So what I always do is like, okay, for example, if my job description is this, my job description is a given.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not even. I said, what do I bring on top of my job description?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the product collection is this, what do I bring on top of this? So I say, okay, you know what? And I was with players and I was training with them, and I see actually like most of their time they're not in a tennis court hitting balls. They're actually in the gym. They do training. They do drills. They do everything. And I said, and I see they're actually training with running shoes, okay, or tennis shoes, which are not the right product for them, you know. So I said, you know what, we're gonna create a training tennis collection specific, because tennis is all about lateral movements, okay, and a running shoe when you do training, back, it's not a good shoe, right? So I've worked with Andre Agassi and we built a training tennis shoe. It was called the COD, change of direction, okay, because it's all about changing direction in tennis. And it was amazing.
That's dope.
Yeah, the shoe failed. We didn't sell it.
Okay.
But it was a great shoe because the market was not ready and I didn't have the marketing support to tell the story.
Right.
Okay. So I had that and it was just fun.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to the office. I was happy every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Right.
And so Adidas is growing, okay? At that time was doing pretty well. And you have to understand it, like in big corporation, the bigger the company is, the more structured it becomes.
Yes.
Okay? So my role got shrinked, okay? Because there's more layers.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be more, like, way more structure overall.
Right.
So, and I got bored.
And which means if you want to get something done, you have to now check off an approval from all of these different people.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And so you spend most of your time trying to get approvals from people versus doing the actual fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody
it's frustrating.
And everybody want to have a point of view.
Right.
And everybody want to own the good idea.
Yeah.
You know. So
it's everyone's job to sort of be like, give your 2 cents.
Yes.
And it's like, oh God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I knew it was time for me to go.
Okay.
And headhunters start calling. Okay, so I was talking to many brands. Okay, but I didn't want to leave Adidas because I love Adidas to that day. Like I really love the company. Okay, also because they gave me so much. You know, they gave me so much opportunities, and I had such a great time there. I just love the company.
Right.
So I didn't really want to go. So I was looking for jobs internally, but nothing that made me, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and I was not in lifestyle. Like my mind was not in lifestyle at all.
Wow.
You know, so you know, I was working in tennis, and I thought tennis was the only thing that mattered to me at the time. Okay, and sometimes, you know, we're talking about the bubble earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if I say I never been in a bubble, I think at that time I was a little bit in the tennis bubble.
Yeah,
you know,
because you were just 24/7 tennis, right?
Exactly, and you know, when you get to work with players, you get emotional. You get even more emotional with the environment you are.
Yeah.
Okay, you are in. So I got into that, and so Nike called me. So I went to the European headquarters, and I told them I want to go to the US. I want to go to Portland.
Yeah.
Okay, and I said, yeah, but you have to stay here for 1 or 2 years, and then we'll find you a job in Portland. I said, okay. So my friend, so I had a job at Nike.
Okay. In Amsterdam, right? Nike headquarters is Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So I got that job, and so they've been looking at me for. They've been looking at me for a year and a half. So we've been talking, and but nothing that came along. And at that time, you remember 6.0?
Yeah.
Okay, Nike 6.0.
It was their action sports division.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the job was related to 6.0.
Okay.
So it's going back to my first
board.
You know, I said, okay, you know what? I can do skateboarding and surfing, but a structured company was complaining like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
Okay. So I said, you know what? I like that actually.
Okay.
So and then I have dinner with a friend. He was a board member at PUMA. Okay. And he did 20 years at Nike.
Okay.
Okay, so I go, I say, Stefano, this is my package, okay, that Nike offered me. Tell me what you think, okay? Yassine, why are you leaving Adidas? He said, because you get too big and it's too structured and I'm not having fun anymore. He said, you think you're going to Nike is going to get better?
You think there's less structure at Nike?
You think there's less structure at Nike? He said, no. He said, you know what? You're going to come to PUMA. I said, no way, I don't go to PUMA.
Really? Why? You weren't even thinking of PUMA at the time?
Bro, I mean, I was wearing PUMA when it was the Mostro time, you know?
Yeah.
Like Mostro and Drift Cat and Speed Cat. It was like 2000s,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Early 2000s. So it was at that time, PUMA was hot, you know? So I never considered PUMA.
Yeah.
Ever. Okay?
And the irony is that when you're working at Adidas, right? When you drive to Adidas, don't you drive past PUMA every day?
Yeah, every day.
So every day you see the PUMA headquarters going to work, and you didn't even consider it.
I never.
You're just like, you drive, and you're like, nope.
Like, I never looked at it. Like I never looked at it. You know.
Okay, so your friend,
my friend, tell me you're gonna come to PUMA. I say, yo, no, no.
Thank you for that. Check, please.
He said, Yassine, okay. I have some open. He was in sales. He was driving. He was a board member. He was driving all the sales part, and he said, I have openings coming in the next 2 months. Okay, so turn down Nike and wait for me to get back to you.
Okay.
So I had an offer on the table. Okay, and literally I trust him. Like I trusted him, and I wanted to work with him because I was a fan of him.
Yeah.
You know, I was. It was not a mentor, but I was looking up to him.
Yeah.
You know, and his career and his personality and what he managed to do.
Right.
You know, I was a fan.
Yeah.
You know, I really liked him. And I said, you know what? Go and work with him. You know, and you're gonna learn so much
and do great things together.
And
right?
also because the company was not doing well, I said, that's the opportunity.
Exactly.
That's the opportunity.
Right.
You know,
you could really make change.
You can make change there.
Yeah.
You know. So, but they were not doing tennis at that time. I said to myself, "You're gonna go to PUMA and you're gonna do tennis." That's what I thought I would do. You know, I really thought I would do that. Okay. So when I left Adidas, I told them. So I had to go. I said to Nike, "I'm not coming." They were surprised because we've been talking for a year and a half. You know.
Yeah.
So I said, "No, I didn't tell them where I'm going, but I said, no, I cannot take it. Thank you for everything." And the Nike people were amazing. Like, I mean, the way they do things is just like on point. You've been to Nike headquarters, right? You see how they treat you?
Yeah.
You know, it's like the way they treat me, I was like, whoa, they really want me.
Yeah.
Until I figured out they do that to everybody. And
so what was your first title at PUMA?
So I had to turn down this Nike thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't have nothing from PUMA.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
But you had Adidas still.
I was still at Adidas.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. So you're working at Adidas full time. You have an incredible offer from Nike to do 6.0, and you have a pending offer from PUMA to do this big question mark, but you know it's going to be good.
Exactly.
Because it's with this guy that you love.
Exactly.
So you turn down.
But I had no guarantee.
Yeah.
What if
nothing in paper? If he could just call you and be like,
say, I'm sorry, actually,
bad.
I didn't have the openings. Yeah.
So you trusted this guy a lot.
Yeah. So I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So he called me. He said, Yassine, okay, I have the job. It's global head of sales accessories.
Global head of sales of accessories.
Okay, so I was doing accessories at Adidas, my first job, remember? Yeah. Okay, so my first job at PUMA is actually what was not related to merchandise and product, is basically driving the sales strategy for accessories.
Admittedly, were you not that excited about that?
Yeah.
You weren't, right?
No, I wasn't.
Right.
Okay, but in the same time, I said, you know what? I haven't done sales. Okay, that's something missing.
Yeah.
In my profile,
yeah. And it's global.
And it's global.
Right.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. And I'm gonna work with him.
Right. Plus.
Yeah. And the package was good.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Let's do it. So I get into the company, and you make clearly the difference between superstructure Adidas. And PUMA. Okay?
Much less structure at PUMA, right?
Yeah, much less structure, but what you see, what I was seeing every day is opportunities. Like, I don't complain as a person, like never, okay? But I see opportunity. I see I can make a difference, you know?
Yeah.
And I actually love it.
This is a major crossroads moment for Yassine. I mean, let's review what he had to work with on the table. He had a cushy, well-paying job at Adidas. Or he could move to an incredible opportunity to work at Nike. Or he could hold out for a big question mark of an opportunity with his homie at distant third-rate brand PUMA. It kills me that he chose PUMA. Because in all logic, you roll that dice 100 times, and the choice is the worst choice he could have made. But this is where gut feeling comes into play. Yassine obviously ain't a dummy. You know he weighed out all the pros and cons here. But he looked down the road and saw more opportunity. He saw bigger potential, and he saw the possibility to make real change at PUMA. And so just like everything that traces back to his childhood, he once again looks for a way to impress within the boundaries of his role and prove that his vision goes beyond what's expected.
So doing sales as my first job at PUMA was a blessing because I get to meet everybody in the markets and in sales. Okay, so I was traveling everywhere just to present my strategy to the market and how to sell accessories, because usually you sell first footwear, then apparel, and if you have time, you sell accessories. So I put a plan together and how to bring accessories to life, and how to create demand, and how to make quick money because there's margin on accessories. There's margin, okay? And that message was that. So I've done that for 6 months, and I had such a good time. Like really, I had a good time.
Can you explain, by the way, just what does it mean when you say there's margin?
Oh, so you make more money selling a pair of socks. Like if a socks costs $2 to make, so it's random numbers. Okay.
These are random numbers.
Okay. If a sock costs $2 and you sell it for 22, you literally make 20. Okay.
And people buy lots of socks. They buy 6 at a time.
Exactly.
Right.
So versus a shoe that costs 40 and you sell it for 120. You know.
Right.
So yes, there's the price per unit in footwear is higher.
Yeah, but the percentage margin is much higher.
Exactly. So that's margin.
Okay.
So I travel and meet the guys, and I started having a reputation in the company. So people appreciate me, appreciate my vision, and my vision was always not accessory centric, but I was able to talk footwear, apparel, everything. You know, sales, marketing, and I had a vision. You know, and the word at the time was actually brand hit.
Brand hit?
Yes. So brand heat. Okay. So
heat.
Heat.
Yeah.
Okay. Heat.
Brand heat.
Brand heat. So we're lacking brand heat. We're lacking brand heat. We're lacking brand heat. That's the word you keep repeating.
Right.
Okay. So I had a meeting with the sales director and Stefano, and I told them, guys, can I work on something? Can I work on a plan to basically build brand hit?
Right.
You know, and I was not at that time not connected to the marketing team at all, which sits in Boston. Like I had no connection with them. Okay, I was a guy in sales. I put a plan together on reigniting the brand through influencers. So this is like 6 years ago. Okay, and the plan was pretty solid. Okay, so they gave me 2 months to put that plan together, and I presented to the board. Okay, and I presented to the marketing, and everybody says, you know what, let's just do it.
Okay.
You know, so I remember I had to go to Kering in Paris because PUMA belongs to Kering Group, which owns Balenciaga, Gucci, and all these fashion brands. So I presented there as well.
Why did you have to present all the way up to Kering Group?
Because the management of PUMA at that time was actually Kering and the CEO of PUMA. They were working,
dual management
together.
Okay.
And I needed money to build the structure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I told them I'm not going to build that structure. So the plan was actually building a team of 12 people, was actually building a company in the company, okay, where it would be based on high-end execution of our products and storytelling and collaborations. Okay, that was the plan. Okay, for that I needed marketing people, designers, product managers, and developers.
Just like a mini company.
Like it's a mini company.
Yeah.
Okay. And
meanwhile, though, you're just the head of sales of accessories still.
Yeah. So while I was building the structure and the plan, I was doing sales.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, but I was not doing sales anymore.
But you're asking to change your job now too.
Yeah. So
you're like giving yourself a promotion.
No, they gave it to me.
Yeah, but you asked for it, right? Like you presented it.
Yeah. Of course. I saw the opportunity. You know what?
Well, I think a lot of people just wait for the promotion.
No, you know what? I didn't wait for the opportunity for myself. I saw the opportunity for the company.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But then there's no one else to drive it, so yeah, it's me. So I built a team, and then I told them, guys, I cannot do it in Germany because Puma is not hot yet, okay? And it's going to be very difficult for us to hire the designer we want in Germany.
Right.
So what we do is we're going to move to London. So, and we opened the structure in London.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and started from zero.
Yeah.
So, and I get 12 people.
Was there already a Puma office in London?
Yeah, we had a Puma office in London.
You wanted to be based out of that
I want to be based there. So I took, out of the 12 people, 4 were actual Puma people
employees,
that I choose from different teams.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had to hire everybody else. And it was an amazing process.
What's the name of this little company that you made?
Select.
Okay, that's Select. That's the birth of Select.
Yeah, that's the birth of Select.
Okay.
So
amazing.
It was amazing. And you know, it was the first time I go through headhunters, recruitment, interviews, and you know what? I went for gut feeling on everybody.
Yeah. And just like that, PUMA Select is born. And now you really understand how it all happened. And surprise, surprise, Yassine trusted his gut instinct when deciding who to build his core team with. At this point, you could say that although he had mentors from time to time, he really trusted himself and his own guiding principles and his work ethic to make this dream scenario come true. You know, brands often sing the praises of developing cool, innovative product because it creates excitement with retail and customers. Sure, of course it does. But an often overlooked positive is the feeling it creates within the walls of your company. In my opinion, it is very difficult to create true brand heat if the reputation within the company is only lukewarm. I have the opportunity to visit corporate headquarters all the time, and when I see the employees are not using the products that the company makes, it says a lot. People aren't stoked on the brand. You ask someone, where do you work? Is the answer told with a slouched posture and a low murmur, or with confidence and swag? I know a lot of E-level people listen to the show, and if you're having a problem with your brand, forget sales reports, forget focus groups, and forget surveys. Are the people by your side stoked on the brand? The solution starts from within. Create brand heat inside, and I guarantee you, you will have a hard time not having that heat seep out to the world. Now that you've built Select and you've got the framework going, what is one of the first big wins that you get out of Select? Like the first home run?
The first home run is, so you have to understand, so what we do is like collaboration, okay? Nobody fucking wanted to work with us on collaboration.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like facts.
Yeah.
Like no one.
Just like you didn't want to get the job at Puma.
Yeah.
And you didn't even want to work there in the beginning. Yeah.
Wait. And nobody knew me in the industry.
Right. You weren't connected to the influencer.
At all.
Right.
You know? So what I've done is I knew Jay and Greg.
From BKRW?
No, because I had, maybe they can tell you the story later, but I helped them to solve an issue they had with Puma, a very deep issue, okay? So I solved it, and we became close. Okay. And I said, guys, this is what I'm doing, I need your help, I'm looking for a brand to collaborate with, blah, blah. He said, oh, there's this brand, this French kid, David, Brooklyn We Go Hard. You remember?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, you should do with him because he's up and coming. He's doing very well, and this is when the strategy came to me and said, you know what? I'm going to work with up and coming brands. I want to be the platform for newcomers, new creative to be associated to Puma and build something together. And it's easier for them. First of all, because it doesn't necessarily cost money. Yeah. Okay, and they want to do it because they want to reach and they want to learn.
Right.
Okay?
And you're both rising together.
And we're both rising together. Yeah. Okay. So 2011, remember where Puma was in 2011, right? Yeah. Do you remember that? Yeah. Okay. So I signed them, home run.
From a sales standpoint and a marketing standpoint.
Yes. So because what I do is I let them drive the creative, because the creative direction should come from them. We work together on design, so my team at that time was designing with them. The collection came very good. We presented it. It was a surprise to everybody. I came up with 5 collaborations that season. Okay, so I had Brooklyn We Go Hard. I had Sophia Chang.
That was that early?
Yeah, it was that early. Sophia Chang was my first female collab.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brooklyn we were at Sophia Chang, and 3 more I remember. Okay? No disrespect, but I don't remember.
And Sophia Chang was a hit too, right?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
So imagine, I go to a yearly conference that we have and we present the season, and I have internally a booth, select booth.
Right.
With all...
Separate from PUMA, basically.
No, it's not. It's like in the headquarters, you basically have showrooms.
Yeah.
And in the lifestyle showroom, I had my select booth.
Right.
Okay? With all my product, everything looked sick, Yeah. And everybody came.
Yeah.
And we did so. Everybody, you know what? Everybody was excited.
Brand heat, right.
So my objective is like to show off internally, make people excited. We did videos to present the thing.
Yeah.
We did like a magazine. I did with Black Rainbow.
Like your coworkers needed to be asking for that product.
Exactly.
Then you know you're doing something right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we start doing that, and everybody get hyped.
Yeah.
And boom.
It builds confidence and momentum and everything.
Yeah. And boom. So then I met Ronnie.
Okay.
So Ronnie is a turning point in my career.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly. I think it's a turning point for many people in their career, but he was, because I met him in New York and we sat. He didn't know who I was, okay? But he knew I wanted to do things. He knew I wanted to change things.
Yeah. And Ronnie at the time is mostly working on ASICS product.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He wasn't messing with anyone else yet.
ASICS and New Balance, right?
Or a little bit of New Balance, yeah.
So, and I wanted to work with him, and we get along very well, like very, very well on emotional level, on fit and everything. And he was starting Kith. I mean, it was also it was the beginning of the store.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the store. So when he launched I was there when he launched his Mercer pant.
Yeah, the first Mercer
one,
pant.
I was there, and he was so excited. You know, and I was, he's a winner.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just want to roll with the winners and say, you know what, I'm going to learn so much from this guy, okay? And we're going to leverage on each other, and we're going to both win, okay? So we started working on this project called COA, was the disc.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yep.
That's
the black and blue one, right?
The creation process with him was amazing. It was very hard, but at the same time amazing because it's extremely demanding.
Yeah.
Okay? Not demanding like Diva, but demanding because he knows exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
And he will not compromise on nothing.
Right.
Okay? So my team, he was the most demanding partner I have had.
Yeah.
Okay? And we said, okay, how are we going to activate that? We're going to do Paris Fashion Week and we're going to do a pop-up. Man. The way he curates stuff, he's the best curator in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, he's better than any brand. Okay? And we had so much press.
Yeah.
We had so much internal talk at PUMA. And then right after I do the Sneaker Freaker.
Yeah.
Remember the shark
cover?
bait? No, the shark bait.
Okay, yeah.
The Blaze of Glory.
Okay.
So it was, and then I had Brooklyn We Go Hard. I had boom, boom, boom.
Right.
In 2 months.
Wow. And Sophia in there too.
And then Sophia was there as well.
Right.
So, like...
Between Sneaker Freaker, Brooklyn We Go Hard, Sophia Chang, Kith. Then Paris Fashion Week pop-up.
Yeah.
Right.
So...
The energy just went from 0 to 100.
Exactly. So we had, everybody was watching us.
Yeah. But let me ask you this reality question. From a sales revenue standpoint, right? It's still probably pennies compared to what you were doing at accessories, right?
Yeah. Of course, it's pennies. But I sold it as a marketing platform. Okay. Now it's a huge business. Okay?
Now it does numbers.
Yeah. So, but it started as a marketing platform.
Yeah.
And we had ROI positive on that.
Yeah.
Okay. We basically did what we promised we would do.
Right. But how do you get the superiors to be like, dude, you're not making money?
Oh, I had that.
And how do you justify what your actions are? You just have to say, like, you could say, like, just trust me, but how do you really get them to trust you?
No, because what I was always telling them is what we're doing has an impact on the brand.
Right.
Okay, on the desirability of the brand, which was fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't pitch them on this is going to make a lot of money in the beginning. You pitched this is brand heat, period. Yeah.
And we were working on a P&L which was not too high anyway. You know, the
investment
was not too high. So, and we managed to get the partner at a very low cost because they wanted to work with us.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work with them, but with a defined budget, which was not high. So,
and you have to be strategic about who you work with, too.
Exactly. So then my job became on running that part to actually looking for partners.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're talking about Ronnie earlier. He introduced me to so many people.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me credits
mm-hmm.
to so many people.
Yeah.
So I built my credibility
mm-hmm.
doing this.
Yeah.
So now if I want to reach out to someone, it's very easy.
Yeah.
Because now I know people.
Everyone will pick up the phone now.
Yeah. And because I know people that know people that know people.
Yeah.
So you introduce me, you, Jeff, to people.
Yeah.
And how we get to you, I get to you through different, also from people that you knew.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work with you. So now things are easier.
Right.
Like really easy.
Yeah. And the probably the most obvious culmination of that is Rihanna.
Yeah.
Like, you could say Rihanna is one of the top iconic pop stars of the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And 6 years ago, if you were like, let's get Rihanna, everyone would laugh.
Yes, exactly. But you know what? And I think that's what our CEO did, is he understood that assets and story doing,
mm-hmm.
not storytelling, but actually you do stories and you create them.
I love that. Story doing, not storytelling.
Yeah, story doing makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And the consumer is drawn into assets and their Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I always say that to my team, is this, and that's what I was putting on my first bullet point
mm-hmm.
When I presented the strategy, is that let cool people say how cool you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you, a corporation, and say, oh, I'm cool, nobody will believe in you.
Yeah.
But if you, Jeff, you do a product with me and say, oh, PUMA is cool.
Right. You don't have to say anything. PUMA doesn't have to say anything.
That has credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And working with Rihanna or we is exactly that,
mm-hmm.
but in a broader scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like in a broader scale.
Right.
So, and that's the impact of the CEO saying, we're going to go bigger now.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not me
mm-hmm.
or marketing people. It's the CEO. So we're going to go bigger and let's look for the biggest people in this world.
Right. Right.
Okay? Like we had Usain Bolt and the fastest man in the world.
Yeah.
We're going to get the Usain Bolt of the music industry.
Right. That's dope.
Yeah.
So now that you've worked with like people from, Rihanna and The Weeknd, then to like the Ronnie Fiegs of the world, and then like even the newest cats like Naturel and like, Sophia Chang.
Yeah.
Like, what have you learned trying to balance all of these different personalities and egos?
Yeah. So I've learned to be very good on emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, you said? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
That means everybody vibe on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, if you're an artist, a music artist, or if you are an artist like a paint or graffiti, or if you're a brand owner, or if you're just an influencer or designer, you vibe in a completely different space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having the ability to juggle all these... So I'm constantly working in average with 50 people.
Collaborators.
Right. Okay? Or co-creators, as I like to call them.
Why do you like to say co-creator versus collaborator?
What I like is like when we sit around a table and we design, we both bring things to the table.
Yeah.
It's like co-creating exercise.
Right.
Okay? So collaboration for me is like a marketing word to justify something.
Right.
Co-creating is the action of actually creating shit.
Right.
So
because often now collaboration is brand X brand.
Exactly.
Just do it,
yeah. So no, I like the create. You know what I like the most is not the launch parties. What I like is the process.
Right.
Like
you and me sitting in Boston in a conference room in the winter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's exactly that. And sometimes there's joy, sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's frustration.
Yeah.
You have to go through that. And when you work with 50 people, in average, you have to match all of this.
Yeah.
And you're the go-to guy. So I have designers, product managers that actually working with the partners. Okay, so I'm not necessarily sitting all the time around the table.
Right.
I mean, people are doing their job, and we have a very, very strong team. But when there's an issue, when there's a request, you're the go-to one.
Right.
You know? So that's a challenge.
Yeah.
But that's the excitement. So when you say, what did you learn? Is like, I think I've learned to manage psychology.
Yeah.
You know, and egos and everything.
Yassine has come all this way, learning so much about the industry and the business and sales and product. But the one thing he wants to punctuate here is that his journey has culminated in learning how to manage psychology. Think on that for a moment. Try to recall that idea the next time you find yourself struggling at a crossroads with a collaboration or a job or a supervisor or a client, not only in business, but beyond the boundaries of business too. How do you best collaborate? What yields the best results? Harnessing other people's personality and enthusiasm is so often overlooked because we all want to express our own opinions. Everyone wants their turn to stake their own claim. But how about taking a moment to pause and consider whether two opinions can truly merge? And you can make something better, something closer to a whole. Instead of being an artist or a business person, try being a psychologist instead and see what it does for you. If someone is trying to get their foot in the door at a company, at a dream job, because you knew from the very start that you wanted to work for a sports brand, right?
Yeah.
What's one bit of advice that you give a young person like that knows what they want to do but they can't get into the door?
I thought I would never be able to get in. What I believe is there's process on things. If your objective is to work for PUMA, okay, maybe there's side step that you have to do before you get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure I've heard of you. You know, make sure PUMA heard of you.
Right.
Do things, write, create. You know, and you know, I mean, the big word now is like creating content. I'm not believing into creating content. I'm believing in documenting. You know,
but
like
documenting real things that you've made. Yeah.
Document real things. Document your process. You know, and that's. Make sure you're visible, you know, because there's so much noise. What's going to make a difference? But we need talent. We need talent. So, I never thought I would work in lifestyle at PUMA, like never. Yeah. You know, but what I knew is I would work in the sport industry. You know, so
you seem to be really good at like knowing when to take a strategic left and a right step versus a forward step. Everyone wants to go forward.
No,
we get it.
No.
But like you took like, okay, accessories. Fine, I'll do it because you know you'll be able to lateral up.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think a lot of younger people, and I hate to use this word because it's got a really dirty edge to it, but like they feel a little bit of entitlement that like, I deserve to be head of Select. So I'm not going to take anything until I get head of Select. If you thought that way, you wouldn't be head of Select today.
No, definitely. And also, this new generation is lacking patience.
Yeah.
So I was always, I'm still now patient, you know. I know what's next, but we'll see. Yeah. You know, we'll see what's next. But I'm pretty confident about it. But also, I have a lot of people coming to me and say, because they know people, they think they can run it. Yeah. Because my job is not about knowing people. It's actually how to make people work. Yeah. You know? That's actually the big difference. Right. And but sidestep building your own brand, you know, building yourself as a brand and work for free. Like work for free. Yeah. You know? Hustle. Yeah, hustle. Yeah. Work for free until something comes good at you.
Right. I want to ask you also about some interview advice because you've obviously had to interview to get the jobs that you have gotten, but now you're in a position where you're building a company within a company, so you're interviewing people, so you have it on both sides. Give some advice to a young person who's going into a job interview.
So the thing like fake it till you make it won't work. You know?
A lot of people think that's like the new secret though. Fake it till you make it shit.
No. You know, I mean, no. I see people suffocating bullshit in interview. You know? So I think I'd rather get someone that is creative and honest and says, I want to learn this, then I know this, and this. Right. You know.
Right. So just be true to yourself.
Yeah, really true, and you have to show ambition, but you have to show empathy and humility. The problem is what we're lacking. You see kids in interview, and he wants to be the CEO. I get that. I want to be a CEO too. okay?
Yeah.
But you're 22, you know?
Right.
So, yes, get your ambition, but be humble with your ambition. You know, I know you're good, okay? You don't need to show it off.
Right.
I know you're good, you know? So, and this generation needs reassurance. They always need reassurance. So, but just be slow. Just slow
patience,
down. Yeah, patience.
You got another last question. So this might be a question for a lot of our listeners, might be people who have a job in a company now, right? And you mentioned structure before.
Yeah.
And they might be in a job where they're seeing just like a maze of structures, right? I feel like one of the things that makes you good at your job is the ability to navigate the politics of the company. Yeah. Right? And that doesn't mean, like you said, like shafting people. No, it doesn't mean shitting on people.
Yeah. And politics is not necessarily negative.
No. But everyone has their own agenda. Everyone has their own wants. Yeah. What's the best advice you give to someone who's listening that has a job? Like, how do you steer that?
So what I think is like in corporation in general, not in general, but I've seen that is actually people don't care about the business. They care about the job title and the next one they're going to get. Okay? So what I would say is like focus on the business. Understand the numbers of the company that you're working for. What's the sales? What's the margin? What's the EBIT? Okay, if we go into detail. Understand the mechanic of the company, you know, and don't think about your next job title because this will come. Right. This will come on time. Yeah. But
if you just go into a room saying that, you're going to be enemy number one. If you just say that in a boardroom, they're going to be like, fuck you, Yassine, you know? But I get what you mean. Like, there's a lot of people that have...
But I would not say it that way.
No, but you should know it.
Yeah, exactly. But that, like, we're talking to the kids who want to get into the company. So... But that's why, if you want to manage and grow in a structure, in a corporation, you cannot move from at 22 having a big job. Yeah. Because you need experience. You need to know people. Yeah. You need to understand what's the circle of influence. Right. Not the circle of influence for you to grow, but the circle of influence to take decision. Yeah. You know, because if you're presenting a plan, but you know no one that can support it.
And no one is your ally.
No one is your ally. It's difficult.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I never really faced hardcore politics, you know, and that's not what PUMA is. I mean, it's not a political company at all. Adidas was heavy, you know, and that was also part of my frustration there. Yeah. But politics comes with the size of the company. Yeah. You know, so... Right. But at PUMA, I don't feel that's happening because we're still in the building process or rebuilding process. But yeah, people want to make a difference, you know, and people want to contribute. Yeah. You know, there's no 5 to 9. People really want, you know, I always have this entrepreneur attitude. Like the money I spend with the company, I feel it's like my money. Yeah. So I don't waste it. Right. You know, I don't waste it. So I make sure that everything I do has a return on investment, you know, and and I would say also for this kid, when you work in this company or when you work in anything, even if you're just an employee, believe it's your company because you most probably will do things differently.
Some absolutely amazing business advice from Yassine Saidi. No matter where you work, even as an entry-level employee, believe it is your company because emotionally, it will make you perform different. And trust me, the right people will take notice. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode with Yassine Saidi of PUMA Select. We are winding down our second season of Business of Hype, and we're gearing up for season 3. Let us know what you want to hear more of, less of. What do you love? What do you hate? Tell us how we're driving so we can make it better for you in the future. You can find out more about the show and listen to other episodes at HYPEBEAST.com/radio. You can subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. I personally use Overcast. And leave a comment. Tell me what you think of the show. You should also reach out to me on Twitter. I'm at jeffstaple. Check us out on the web at businessofhype.com. And you can email any questions you might have to questions@businessofhype.com. And Dan, do we have any mail in the mailbag this week?
This week's question comes from Ty Lugozima. As a designer in a niche market, I'm having trouble getting credit for the work that I do. How did you break out when you started working with larger companies who typically just want their name on the product?
Hey, Ty, thanks for that question. All right, so you're talking about credit. Well, you can never force the other party to give you credit, right? They're paying you for a job. They could do whatever the heck they want. My suggestion is that you are very diligent about posting and crediting your own work. So having an online portfolio or sharing your work on your own Instagram account and just getting the notoriety that you deserve on your own channels first, because you can't control what other people do. Now, I do want to caveat that by saying that sometimes you might be doing a job that prevents you from actually giving yourself credit from a legal standpoint. So be careful of that. I've been involved in work where I wasn't allowed to say that I did the job. Essentially, you're almost like ghostwriting for the project in essence, but from a designer standpoint. So just be careful of that. But other than that, I would say go to town, promote yourself, put it on your website, put it on your feed, pat yourself on the back for the work that you're proud of, and people will take notice and just go from there. All right, thanks again for the questions. Keep them coming. Email us questions to questions@businessofhype.com, and we'll try to get yours answered over the air. The Business of Hype is directed by Daniel Navetta. It's edited and produced by Bright Young Things. You can check them out at byt.nyc. Engineering is by David Rogers Berry. And we're looking for interns at the Business of Hype. So if you're interested, give us a shout. We hope to find you in the studio one day. This was recorded at Sibling Rivalry Studio and on location in Dubai at Sole DXB. I'm Jeff Staple, and you've been listening to The Business of Hype on HYPEBEAST Radio.